We are. We're just gonna. I don't know who's gonna come on yet. So.
Can you see him when we join?
You know what? This is the first time I've done live on our group, so it's all still new. So, and it's 8:30 at night. I got the thing turned off.
Monday too.
It's Monday. Nobody else is fishing. All my friends that are out there. We have a lot of people from other states as well that just come on our group just to see what we're catching. Because everybody's envious, like when they hear about what
Texas
you guys are catching.
Nuts.
It's been insane.
Yeah.
So
I love Texas. It's like now, like lives and stuff, you can rewatch them like it. Once
yeah.
you end it, it like posts, don't it?
It'll post it, and then everybody's gonna watch it. So I have no idea if anybody's gonna join. So I didn't even promote it yet because I was like, I don't know if we're gonna do it. Because we tried to set it up, and I was like, well, we'll do a live, we'll save it, and then just post it back, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's so cool to have you guys here. The youngest members of the Bassmaster Elite, right? Both of you guys.
Yep.
I accidentally ran into these guys at the boat ramp fishing Lake Fork here, and it was insane. It was insane. I had a really tough day fishing Fork. So I've been fishing Fork for about 10 years, right? And I think maybe like once a year I'll get skunked on, right? And most of the time I can find one, but I've never fished January. Most of the time I've never bought like heavy, you go out and fish 30, 29. It gets cold in Texas, 29.
Yeah, we were here. It was 2 degrees.
Yeah,
it's
lovely.
I was on Toledo, and I took one over the front. And I was like sitting there like rethinking my situation on why I'm out here. And then I get up on my front deck, my rods had froze to the front deck. My graphs were froze to the thing. I couldn't undo the noms?
Yeah.
Completely like that thick of ice on them. So couldn't take them off at night, and every compartment was froze shut.
Because the wave went over and did it.
The wave was blowing probably 20 miles an hour.
You're the youngest member, right? How old are you?
18.
You were 18, and it is Trey McKinney?
Yes, sir.
That's
Trey
right?
McKinney. Yep.
McKinney, how do you spell that?
McKinney.
You had to think about it?
Yeah, I know.
We have a city called McKinney here.
So,
and you have social media?
Yes.
So if people want to follow you, where would they go?
Trey McKinney Fishing. That would be my homepage for Instagram, and then I have a Trey McKinney Fishing and a Trey McKinney on Facebook. Okay. So just the Trey McKinney is my personal page, and then Trey McKinney Fishing is my more or less. It's kind of like anybody can follow.
Okay. All right. Hold on 1 second while I forget to turn this other one on.
We got some people watching. He said got Cody Broadway.
I don't know if anybody's watching. I don't know.
My eyesight's too bad to read that far.
Oh yeah, there's some people.
We got Joe Casey,
oh, that's
Shirley.
Joe. So Joe Shipley, what's up, Joe? Joe is a guide on Lake Ray Hubbard. He's awesome. I caught one of the biggest bass. Joe, I see you on there with this dude. He's like, hey Rick, come out with me. Let me show you. And he fishes kind of this. I fish Ray Hubbard all the time. We fish kind of the same places. We fish some tournaments in the same tournaments. What's up, Cody? Cody's a good. And we were on a point, and I threw a crankbait at this point I always fish, and it was a giant. It was definitely over 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. And I'm reeling it in, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, get your camera, turn it on. This is perfect. We're gonna post it on the thing. And he's like, well, I don't have my camera. And so we're going around, and I brought it right to the boat. It's on the side. You know how it's like done? I was like, okay, pull. I went down. He just snapped his neck, and then went down and knocked it off. Like he knocked the crankbait off. I was so sad. He's like, don't worry, we'll catch another. We did. We caught like another 5-pounder, but it wasn't that. It was just a big giant one. It's gonna be so good. Yep. But Joe, thanks for taking me fishing. So again, guys, if you're just joining me, I got the youngest members of the Bassmaster Elite, and make sure that they can see you on this one as well. And we're out here fishing Lake Fork. They were fishing Lake Fork this week. And I wanted to just kind of introduce you guys to who are the youngest. Like, these guys are 18, and you were 21, right?
22 now.
Oh, now you're 22? Because you said you're 21, like, when you first got here. So happy birthday.
Well, I'm still so used to saying 21, but January 15th, I turned 22. So.
All right, so you guys qualify for the Bassmaster Elites. This is your first time?
Yes, first year rookie seasons.
And then this is your first time on Lake Fork. right? All right. So I wanted to hear. So I met them over here in Lake Fork. I wanted to hear, like, what are your thoughts when you first got here? Which ramp did you guys launch out of?
It was one at the bridge.
The same one. I think it's 154 ramp. All right. So that's kind of like right in the center of the lake.
Yep.
And so we're not going to really talk about strategies or anything that you did, but I just want to get a feel for, like, when it's your first time. This is the GOAT Lake. This is the lake that has some giants. And I heard you guys had some really good days, because I cried when I heard I was out fishing all day and they were telling me, oh man, this is the easiest lake to get this huge bag. It was insane when I heard what they were catching. But and I don't know what you can share. If you can't share it, that's fine. But yeah, so go ahead first.
It was one of them lakes. It's kind of like when we first got here, it was like a terrible rainstorm. So like at the first day, I was like, oh, water's clear, everything else like that. And I started venturing out, like way out in the creek, stuff like that. It started getting muddy. So I was like, like, I always like muddy water at the beginning is usually something I kind of stay away from. But then you get 1 or 2 warm days, and then it's just like, that's where I go. So that's like kind of how I done. So I kind of stayed in the kind of the clear water, caught quite a few scoping, active targets. So that's like mainly, that's kind of my biggest strength. Other than shallow water fishing, I love shallow water, like flipping bushes, boat docks, all that money stuff. So I basically just more or less scoping like points, transition areas where they go in. And then sometimes, like when it got real sunny, kind of hotter weather, we had a few good days, I'd kind of like venture into that muddier water and do all right as well. So it's just basically like our goal is just trying to find the most populated area of fish. So like that's my goal anyway. So when I come to a new lake, I want to scope the whole bank, want to scope the whole lake if I can. The most.
It takes a long time to scope a lake. So
it does.
What's your strategy? I mean, everybody has their own strategy.
Yeah. Basically, on 9, 24/7, and see as many docks as you can. So that's basically that is basically my strategy is find the places I think that look good, the kind of the better creek arms, and I'll spend a lot of time on one creek arm, and I'll figure out if it's worth it. Like, okay, so I seen, let's say, 50 fish over 3 pounds just today in this creek arm. So then I got to figure out when I come back, how can I shortcut? How can I like find them where they're sitting at now? So like they're here now, and they're going to be moving back here. So I got to find those little spots that I marked that they might not have any fish, but it looks right on scope for when I come back, they're going to be there.
And so you're coming from which state?
Illinois.
Illinois. So how does this lake compare to Chicago, Illinois lakes that are out there?
I'm down. I am lucky. I'm down southern, so we're like 2 different people. A lot of people from Illinois that they understand.
Okay.
We're 2 different people.
It's 2 different people. Okay.
So we're from down south. We got a lot of ponds, basically. I mean, compared to like y'all's lakes.
Yeah. Okay.
Like my home lake's like 1,500 acres, so that's like pretty big lake for where I'm at. But I think our biggest one's like 15 or like 12,000 acres. So not huge compared to what these guys fish on and anything else like home lake. He don't have a good home lake either.
Oh, I got the worst.
That was awful.
Probably in the world.
Oh, we're gonna hear about that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna hear about it.
And it's like the same thing. Like at home is basically the only thing that home's really taught me is how to fish pressure. So like we have these 1,500 acre lakes with 100 boat tournaments and sometimes multiple 100 boat tournaments on one weekend. So then like you can practice throughout the week, everything's great, everything's awesome. And then right when the tournament hits, like everything changes. And that's like kind of the turning point of who does good, who does great, So once you figure that out, figure out how to downsize line, make maybe smaller baits, or sometimes even go bigger. Sometimes that's some of the key to pressure is actually just throw a bigger bait than somebody else. So
Lake Fork is known for its pressure. They have multiple tournaments a weekend, crappie and bass, multiple bass tournaments at multiple marinas.
Yeah.
So what did you guys? We'll go to you. What did you think about like scope? Did you scope while you were out there?
Yeah, so I definitely scoped a lot, but I definitely do take a different approach than like what he does. I'm a big side scan, 360, Lake Master mapping. I do a lot of research before I get to the place, and like I use a lot of Google Earth too. And like you go on Lake Master, you can turn the overlays off and make it work. Google Earth, they got a really good Google Earth image for this place. And like I was even showing him just a minute ago, like I found rock piles, I found stumps, certain trees that look right. I'll go here, a couple weeks before or a month before and just go through the entire lake on Google Earth and mark everywhere. Then I'll go through on Lake Master and find the way certain ditches run to certain banks, certain points, and then I'll break down that. And then when I get there, I'll go with side scan, and I'll scan all of it, and I'll get an understanding. And once I kind of break down all the structure in the lake and find all that, that's when I'll sit down and start scoping and looking around.
So while you're doing that, are you actually fishing, or are you just like going through the lake, just trying to, this is a first time, Goat Lake, you only got a certain amount of time to fish and to figure all this out. You're going online, studying the lake, and then now you're out there scanning structure and cover. Are you, like, if you see fish, you're like, hey, I'm going to stop here, or do you say no? Do you discipline yourself to I'm just going to look and scan, or do you actually try to fish as well?
No, it depends. Like, this place is a lot different, You got to, like, this is one of the only places you got to look at your equipment. Like, you can't get out there and just scan through timber. You'll end up tearing off your side scan. You'll mess up your like prop shaft on your motor. Like, you got to take care of your equipment. So like I made the decision to not probably scan as much as I normally do here. So I started fishing. But no, I've went to places. I went to Cherokee before for 2 weeks and I never took the locker bar off. Like, I went 2 weeks, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and never made a cast for 2 weeks straight.
Man, that would be brutal.
And I just
beautiful lake and just like,
oh my goodness.
No. That's what he's good at. That's what I need to learn how to do. Like, I'm more of kind of like trying to find like my little areas, sweet spots. But while I'm breaking out one just a little bitty creek arm, he's broke down the whole lake. So that's like the other thing. Like, I might be able to find like little bitty stuff that for some reason there's a few floaters there that maybe he might not see at that time. But he's broke down twice the acreage, 3 times the acreage as I have. So it's like 2 different strategies. They both work, but if you want to like find as many spots and everything like that, his way is definitely like really good. And that's why on this next boat, I'm trying to get like live skips off the back, where I can understand it and I can do the same thing, just a little different.
That's awesome.
And like, what he's not really saying is like the way where his comes into play. So like when you're in a tournament, you can't run here, then run 50 miles to your next spot, then come back. So like what he does, which works extremely well for winning tournaments and having really, really high finishes, to where I built my way I fish around consistency. And his is consistent too, but sometimes you fall in the wrong area and you don't have much to go to. Yeah, so there.
But
it's
when he gets really hard to be consistent in fishing. All you guys watch and know that it is hard to consistently catch fish, and that's how I'm assuming that's how you guys qualify. What do you have to do to qualify for the elites?
Top 9 out of, I think there were 178 at this time.
178 people. You got to finish top 9
on which tournament?
Bassmaster Opens, all of them. So it's basically. You have the Bassmaster Opens, and it's a 9-tournament series.
Okay.
And 170 people signed up for all 9.
Okay.
And then you got to finish the top 9 out of the 178. And basically, we averaged 210 boats in all the events throughout the year, and the average finish you needed was 40th place for all the events. So basically, you had to average a 40th place finish out of 215 boats for 9 tournaments straight. And like
he trip, they step on there.
Oh yeah, but like, so he had like a, what was it, 21st place finish,
something like that.
And then I had like a little bit higher, but like literally you have to average 40th place. You have to beat.
160.
You have to beat 75% of the field every single tournament for 9 tournaments in a row.
And then to qualify.
To qualify for the Bassmaster.
Yep.
It is legit.
And where are those lakes at? Is it all over?
All over. So we went to Florida, New York, and everywhere in between.
Texas. We were at Toledo Bend last year.
You were at Toledo Bend?
Yep. Okay. Toledo Bend, St. Lawrence River, and Harris Chain. So you got all 3 corners of the map just about on there.
And did you guys think that you were going to make it?
It was my first year as well, so I was like coming into it. I'd fished some BFLs before.
Okay.
And when I was 16, yeah, I did. I was very blessed in the BFLs. Actually, I was.
What's up, Philip? Philip's a guide out here on Lake Fork as well.
Oh, heck yeah.
He's out there.
But no, it's the same way. That's kind of how I kind of got the aspect of it, because I always fished like when I turned 16, I'm like, what can I do? Like, okay, I have a boat now. Like, listen, and I actually joined at BFL and actually Angler of the Year the first year, and it was actually pretty cool because I was like the youngest ever on that too, and I was like, let's just like let's do one more year of this. So when I was 17, we done it again. I actually ended up winning Angler of the Year again, and I was like, let's try it. And a whole bunch of people was trying to talk me into this, like, just Bassmaster Open. And it was intimidating because my cousin was in it, and I know he's like a really great angler. I mean, he's amazing. And, it was tough on him every once in a while. And I was like, I don't know if I want to step in that big yet. And we kind of stepped in. And the first tournament, the first day I caught like 14 pounds, which from where I'm from, a good bag.
That's a good bag.
And I was sitting like 50th. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm going to get my butt kicked all year. And then finally that next day it clicked and I had 20 pounds. And then I jumped all the way up to 20th. And I was like, maybe we can hang. And then it was just kind of one of the things we went throughout the year and just went fishing.
Are they 2-day tournaments?
3.
The 3 all of them are 3-day tournaments.
So the first 2 days you got the full field, and the last day it cuts down to 10 people.
Yep.
So 10 people fish the last day.
wow.
So it's a 2-day cut, then a 3rd day for 10 people.
You made 5 something?
4, and 11th by 1 ounce.
Okay. Yeah, we both made 4.
Wow,
Yep.
that is awesome. Crazy.
Pretty cool.
That's hard work. It's a hard work. Learning the new lakes, getting out there, never fishing them before, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you have practice time? Like, did they tell you, hey, we're going to fish this lake, and then during the year you guys went and checked them out?
For sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Pre-practice is huge, like for me, and I would say him as well. Is like pre-practice. Most of the time you can find like little general areas and spots before you get there. So when you understand something, you see one fish doing one thing, you're like, I got 10 other spots like that.
Yeah.
And then you just run them.
Just run them through the
Yep.
It allows you to shoot off the hip a lot better.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to go around and, like, let's say you catch, like, you're fishing in an area and all of a sudden you're not getting bit. Then all of a sudden you pan out and they're like, oh, there's one tree in the middle of a ditch. And there's a fish on it. You're like, well, I don't have any more trees in the middle of the ditch, so I'm kind of messed up. So
Exactly.
where, like, if you go practice, you're like, well, I got, like, 30 ditches with, like, one singular tree. I'm going to go run all those, and all of a sudden you got 30 fish in the box in an hour.
Yep.
That's
So, like,
crazy.
pre-practice is a big deal
It is.
for picking up on batteries.
It was.
Now, do you ever talk with guides, or are you guys during practice? You're allowed to, right?
Actually,
Oh,
on the
no.
elites, it's
Okay.
strictly 0, unfortunately.
Okay.
As soon as the schedule comes out, you're allowed to get 0 information anywhere in the work. Anywhere we go in that field is 0 information from. Doesn't matter what it is. Only information we're allowed to have is public information.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was wild. It was like literally they pulled us off the stage after we found out we made it and be like, you cannot talk to anybody at this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if they've ever been to the lake before, you cannot talk to them.
Wow. So it's just completely silence.
Yep.
basically.
Yeah, so, like-
YouTube videos.
Well,
we got
yeah.
YouTube videos, online articles. But the thing is, like, it's so weird for me because, my dad's been my practice partner since I was 16 years old.
Okay.
So, like, now I can talk to him from Fort. Like, we could shoot, ideas or whatever, talk about, like, certain things about Fort. He's never been there. It doesn't matter. Like, none of that matters.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's just, like, you're allowed to have people in the boat that's never been to Fort. But, like, Toledo, I'm like, all right, we cannot talk about bass fishing in any remote sense when it comes to Fort, Wheeler, Smith, St. Lawrence, basically my whole entire season.
Oh, wow.
So, like, the person that I used to talk to
Uh-huh.
every single day about bass fishing, I'm like, well,
Yep.
that can't really
What,
happen.
what a sacrifice.
It is. And
It's
I-
definitely different. It's
yeah.
definitely weird to be like in a conversation, like it comes so natural, like, whoa, please don't, please
Yeah.
don't.
Yep.
Because
Yeah, I can't have
you
that.
guys have polygraphs, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if
They're
you-
actually, I think they're going to really crack down on this year. Like, they're going to do, like, a whole bunch. Like, no matter if you're not a top 10, they just do, like, random polygraphs.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, just to make sure it's on the up and up.
And it's like the same thing with him. I had a buddy that traveled with me everywhere as well. And his name is Rick Cheatham. And, man, he traveled everywhere with me. Like, he took me my first high school event, my first tournaments, like, all that. And we traveled ever since last year. And then now it's like,
Yeah, you can't reach out to those people.
No.
So this is a journey that you guys are on. So what were your thoughts of Fork when you first got here?
the first day I got here, I was like, okay. I caught like, I didn't catch that many. I caught like 4 or 5, but caught like big ones. Like everywhere like I go, it's like you catch 4 or 5.
What's big? 'Cause, I'm sure a lot of people want to know what's a big one on Fork.
5 plus.
Yeah.
Over 5 pounds?
Yeah, over
Okay.
5 pounds is a big one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I caught like the first day I was here, like we don't catch like 7s where we are, and I caught like a 7.5, and I'm like, okay, like is that normal? Like let's just figure that out. And it was, it actually, it was very good. I love y'all's lake, but it's kind of weird because like our lake population's like a thing. So like you'll see like I'll go through 30 bass before I see one that I want to catch.
Okay.
Here, if I see 30 bass, you got
trouble.
you got a giant bag, you know.
Yeah,
So over here, it's like literally you go down a mile of bank, and I might only see 5, 6 bass, and I might only get 2 or 3 bites. But it seemed like most of the time when you have a stretch like that, they're all 5 plus, you know,
Big ones.
5 to 8, something like that. So that was like kind of the key here is just finding those little sweet spots where you could see more than average. Because if I can see them, you got your high percentage areas. But most of the time here, it was kind of hard to get in those areas. But when you did, it was really awesome.
Yeah.
I've had a great day out on Fork, and when you have one of these days, you're catching 25, 30 pounds. I've heard of people catching 40 and more. Like I don't know if you saw Lee Livesey Like if
42.
yeah, that's an insane day on that top water over by where he was fishing. Just have a bag like that on. Everybody knows it's on. And so I was there like 2 days after that when he was there, and there were boats everywhere.
Oh, I bet there was like 30 bass. There was like 30 boats on that one island.
It was crazy, and it was like the middle of the week because that came out. It was like in the middle of the week or something like that, and so I was like there like the next day or the day right after. Didn't catch any. I didn't catch any big one. I caught some, but actually that I can't give you any things. But anyways, I like that spot. So it's legit. It's a legit spot.
It looks legit. On side scan, it looks pretty sexy. The amount of fish that you catch here is crazy. And what's cool is you guys are able to weigh, because a lot of times when we do our tournaments out on Lake Fork, slop.
You catch a 6, 7, 8 pounder and it's under 24 inches. You can't bring it to like I caught a big one, but I can't bring it. Yeah,
like I got a giant.
Yeah,
that's
so
gotta be depressing.
Oh, because if you guys measure your 7 pounders, you measure all your big fish, and
like
none of them are gonna be over 24.
I measured quite a few 8s this week. I was like, it's like 23 and like
they're all like you want a fish stretcher. It's like I just need to have it.
I caught one that was like 8. I think it was like 8-14 something on a 9 pounder. I laid on the board, and it wasn't like crazy past an 18-inch board. I don't have a 24, but I just have an 18, and it was only like that much past.
You need a 24 when you come to Fort.
Yeah,
okay.
Bass is gonna be providing ours. It's gonna be nice.
I hope so.
I hope I get.
I don't even need one after here. You know?
I hope I get to lay a couple past the 24 mark. That's my goal. I want to at least lay one a day.
They're overs. They're called overs. So that would be insane. It'd be amazing to get there. And this is the time to do it. So when is the tournament? In March?
Yeah,
February.
It's actually February 29th through March 2nd. Yeah, because it's a leap year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It always trips me out when they say 29th.
Yeah, exactly.
28 of those.
What day is that? No, so that's when the spawn really starts kicking in, right at the end of February. Yeah. So you'll still have the pre-spawners.
Not.
I know. That's what I'm saying. No, there's always going to be the pre-spawners that are still out there that don't come in, but
we want them getting nice and fat.
Dude, there are.
I want their stomachs bigger as that cup.
Yeah.
There are places on Fork where you're in a cove and you're seeing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pounders just swimming next to you. They're all on. It's insane, like submarines, the big ones. And you're like,
I could see some of that.
It's insane. Like there's certain ones I can't tell you where it at, but I do have a YouTube. You guys can check out YouTube. I do have a place where I posted that on my YouTube. But it's insane. You just see some of the biggest fish you've ever seen. You're freaking out, and you're like trying to, and they know, like they've been caught so many times. They're not trying to get caught again.
Yeah.
So, but you can
like
just.
Santee. We got some places in Santee, like that's our miracle lake around my house is, and like around full moons, we have this one like big ponds area, and the pond's like way bigger than this room that we're in. It's a big room. I mean, it's probably like a 15-acre pond. And
room real quick, just to give them some.
So yeah, it's like a 10 to 15-acre pond, and the entrance to the pond is only as wide as like two of these booths. Like it's probably about 20, 30 feet wide, and it's only like 2 foot deep. So it's crystal clear. So you can you can see every fish going in there.
Yeah.
And it's the #1 spawning bay in the whole lake. And I remember you can go there not before the full moon. Like it's common. People just go there not before the full moon, power pole at the front, and just watch. And you're like 8, 10, 8.
So
6.
So that brings me to another question.
Yeah.
What is your personal best bass that you guys caught?
9.4.
9.81.
9.81. Okay.
And
Interesting.
I wanted a 10-pounder here so bad.
That's what
Me
I
and
was
him were
shooting
both
for.
hunting a double digit for
Ever.
every day.
I'd see the dot, and I'm like, that might be him. And I would like hook up, and it would pull off, or he would just come up and be like,
They just look at it and then they just go.
I lost one this week that came up, and it was definitely between 10 and 12. And I went, it swam right back, and every single day I come back and try to catch it.
And they learn. They're very smart.
Yeah,
They're very leery here out on Lake Fork.
And the thing is, I thought I had her hooked because like I popped it. She like on the pause and went boom. Oh, and I leaned in. It was just like head shakes, like a foot wide. I was like, oh. She came up and I saw her stomach, and she was like that tall. I was like, oh.
The end of February, early March is a really. It's still early because like right in mid-March is when it really kicks off, but that's when the biggest girls come in, early in the season. So that's the best time to be catching.
That's what I was liking too.
giant
Is like now with this big cold front like this is not like your average, year. So hopefully they'll kind of push them back a little bit. Yeah.
This was so. When did you guys get here? You got here during that really cold?
Yes.
Okay,
Freezing.
so it was
You got here,
freezing.
like January, what?
I know every
January-
hotel I've been
January
through.
18th.
Like that. See, in Illinois, I guess our pipes are deeper or something. They're like
They're
here.
Oh, yeah, busted pipes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everywhere, everywhere. Like I go to a hotel, hey, we don't got water. I'm
Yeah,
like,
there's no water.
okay. And then I go to the next one, you got water? No. I'm like, all right. I just like.
Coming up, I can't take a
Yeah,
shower.
and it comes out it's like multiple nights to get just a shower.
Yeah, no. It
Texas does not know how to do cold.
I remember we woke up in the morning. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's 8 degrees. Feels like 2." I was like,
Yeah,
"Sweet."
it's
Yeah.
cold. It
That's
feels a lot
awesome.
colder. But on the flip side, we had some great weather these past 3-4 days.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
Too
Today
bad,
was like awesome.
I wish we had this on Fork, but every single day we're on Fork, I could see here to maybe the chair in front of me,
It was
and it was
so
just so foggy.
bad.
The
So
foggiest
bad.
weather I've ever seen in my life.
Like,
I
almost
couldn't even see the end of my
drilled.
cast.
Drilled a buoy.
I cast my
Drilled.
yeah, dude.
Really?
I almost hit a few of them. Did you hit one?
Yes.
oh,
Smoked one.
well-
But thank goodness it was on my rub rail. Because I
Okay.
could. It was like it was kind of getting dark, and I was like, "This is stupid." And I was like, keep driving. All of a sudden I hear, "Bang!" like that, and I look back, and it's just like.
I
Right
hit a
here.
buoy on Toledo Bend, like the big plastic ones that sit up.
Yeah.
I'm not used to my skeeter.
Yep.
So, like, I used to own a Phoenix Fat Camus. And when you
That's
turn,
what I had. Don't say anything bad about a Phoenix.
whenever you turn, they bite.
Yeah, they
And then,
do.
like,
It does.
so, like,
It
but a
bites.
skeeter, it, like, slides. So it'll, so when you turn, it's like a nice little glide. But the thing is, I wasn't used to it. So I turned, and I said I was turning.
It's like,
And that
keep
buoy,
turning.
I was turning, I was like, that buoy is getting really close. I'm like, oh, boy, bam! I'm like, oh,
Yep.
there goes that one.
I got a
Hope you
chunk
don't
out
hit
of
the
my
stump near
console.
here, 'cause it's
I've
my
done
fault.
Done the same thing. I was running in because we got to be off the water at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And I had like 5 minutes, and it was like 3 minutes to the ramp.
Oh.
So I was like hauling at 62 miles an hour as fast as my boat would go. And I was like going, and
So
I
was part of
turned,
the opens.
and I like hit a wave run, and like chop, chop,
Oh.
and it just, and it like, so those are like really tall. So they're like, let's say this tall, and I hit it like right here, and it just shattered in the top, come in my boat, and just like, absolutely like, it exploded on my console. I got like this huge gash.
And you're like, well, that happened. Hammer back now.
Yeah, I was, exactly. I didn't even look.
Well, you guys are like you didn't blow out a lower unit,
Yep.
which a lot of people do. One of the times I came out here.
Yamaha.
Yeah, well, if you
Hopefully.
hit these stumps going 50, 60, and you don't
Yeah,
know,
that
it's
was-
a minefield here.
Y'all need to
Really.
get a leash.
it's
I got
it's
a leash
crazy.
in my truck for scissor sonar.
Yep.
It's
Y'all need to
crazy.
get one.
So you got to be careful. I remember I was coming out here and some guy had his motor trimmed up and the bottom unit was completely off, and they were trying to load their boat on the trailer with the trolling motor. And the other guy doing the trolling motor didn't lift it out of the boat
He
in
broke
time,
the
and it
trolling
just
motor.
snapped the trolling. So
I've
he
literally-
lost his lower end and the trolling
I've
motor
watched that happen
on the
at a
same
boat
trip.
ramp as well.
And I asked him, and they didn't catch any fish that day.
Well,
I
So
would just retire.
you know what kind of day you're having. You
I've
don't
been
catch
on boat.
anything, lose your lower unit, lose your trolling motor.
I done that. It was. I never tell this story. Ever tell this story. But this is at Gunnersville, and my first Toyota Series,
Okay.
and I had a Mercury, and my shift actuator went out. Okay, imagine that. Everybody know that. And I got going, and I'm like, all right. So how am I gonna load the boat? I was like, trolling motor. I'm just gonna do trolling motor. Well, on a Ghost, when you got a pin on 9, if you like pop the string, it don't go. You gotta let off of it and then pop the string. But I didn't know that, so I had it on 9, and I was trying to pop the string, and I had like this much room to go. And by the time I popped it, I like tried to throw it up like that, and it barely clipped it, and it threw me. I'm freaking into the water. It was like 30 degrees. I felt like it was a NASCAR team. Everybody like got out of their boats. Come on, you all right? I'm like, let me just go home. Like I was like, it was so embarrassed, but it was awful. Like I was just floating around underneath my boat trailer, and the boat like ran over me.
Oh.
I fell in front, and then the boat kept coming on the trailer. Oh, it was so bad. Oh, it was awful.
Wow.
It was embarrassing.
So you guys, it sounded like you had a good practice. You found some really good spots. March is just around the corner. So what do you do now? It's the beginning. It's the end of January. So for a month, nobody's allowed on the lake.
Yep.
So what do you just sit down and think about?
There's
what you
always
coulda did?
there's always next ones. So like I'm getting ready to literally tomorrow I'm gonna fish maybe some little lake around here, and then I'm gonna head straight to Texarkana. My mom's we're gonna meet somewhere. She's gonna get my new boat, So then I got to take it back to Texarkana, then get it rigged. And then as soon as I get it rigged, then I'm heading to Florida to fish Harris Chain and St. John.
So that's your so you're gonna spend the next month practicing for the next.
Practicing for the next.
Okay,
Yep.
for the next one.
So it's like a never ending, like ever. Because then as soon as I come up from there, we gotta get our boats wrapped. So I was like, because you can't step in the water at any elite event without a wrap on your boat.
Oh,
You have to
So it's kind of like I think you
same thing
get
in the Bassmaster Classic too.
Yeah, you get a fine or something.
that's interesting.
And
I've never heard that.
So that's another big thing. So we got to do that, and then by that time it's tournament.
Then you just running back. So you're just learning all the next lakes and all the different spots.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Cover as much water as we can in a short amount of time.
Well, the youngest guys here, and it sounds like you guys are doing good, right? So some people are like, oh, they're lying, they didn't catch that many fish, but on Fork you can, and you got pictures to prove it, right?
Oh, I got pictures.
Yeah, you want to show one picture?
I got it on my
Did you blur the background?
No, we're at a boat ramp, so if you want to go fishing the boat ramp,
Yeah, hey, there's.
you can find it. I promise. It's pretty obvious. Big old fat bridge behind it and everything. Here.
That was two we caught yesterday.
What? What lake was that? Was that even here?
Yep.
Hold on, let's see.
Can you show that? Can you show that to these guys? Like zoom in there.
That's two we caught. Let's see.
Let's see.
That was yesterday.
I'll bring this closer. Look here.
That's some big ones.
This
They were
was
large.
That was the day before that.
Oh my gosh! This is
that was
why
the
these
day
guys
before that.
qualify.
Oh, I got more. Hold on. Where we go? Now this was my best day. That's the day I had 37, and that was the two I had.
Here,
Yeah.
was that recently in the past week or two? Oh, it was.
I'll just show you my scale.
When I skunked out and these guys are catching 30-pound bags.
Yeah, that was
This
one
is
day.
insane.
At 34.
34 pounds.
Oh, this place is legit.
Yeah.
What's
Got
the
Bubba
biggest
scale.
bag you guys have had since you guys been doing this?
Like tournament or practice.
Either. What's the biggest 5 fish?
So the biggest 5 fish was actually here the first day I got here.
What a way!
No,
First day you fish
Was
fork.
it the first day?
You've
It
never
was the first day.
You've never fished fork before.
Yeah, my first day ever had like 38.35 or something like that. It was like a sack. I had a 901 and 870. And then I had a bunch of 6s and 7s to go with it.
A bunch of.
And that's the day I missed the 10 too.
Oh.
And I kept going back every day to go catch that 10 and I never got it. I never got her. The last day I pulled up and I saw her and I got hung up first cast. I was like, oh my god, she went.
That's
Right back
gotta
down to our
be
little-
just that. Having a day like that, it's like a day of days. It's like it's hard to top that because you go to every other lake, and it's like, oh, I got a 20-pound bag, I got 25 pound bag.
Exactly. I want to go home and catch minnows.
And
And I'm
you're like,
dude,
I
what
need to
is
go
this?
back to port.
Just go
This
back
is
to
insane.
Winyah Bay where I'm from and you catch like 8 pounds, you win everything.
Yeah, it's like
8 pounds, you win everything.
Well, see, that's like around home. Like, I fish to get my 5 bites, and I want to get paid. You know, so that's like around home. It's so many. It's like totally different strategy. Like, literally, I fish for my 5 bites, and I know I'm getting the check, basically. And that's kind of the difference. Like around where we live, it's just like that's what you're fishing for. That's what you're grinding out for. And like here, that was pretty cool. Like I never really caught that many big fish. You know, I caught my 3rd biggest I've ever caught is at 813.
Here?
Yep, here.
Okay, so you got your biggest fish, and then what was your biggest bag you've ever caught?
I actually was
It was here.
I had like 34 4, something like that. So
such a
it was unreal.
Yeah.
Like it was dumb. But it's one of the things. I was hung on 29.
You told when I
Yeah,
first met them, they're
so
like, yeah,
hungry.
I just had a
Yeah,
29.
upset about 29.
29 pound day.
I literally 2 days in a row. The first day and the second day, I'm like, dude, I can't break it. And then the next day I went out and I had 34. I felt so good. Just like
gosh.
it was awesome.
That's insane.
Yeah, this place is unreal.
Yeah, if you find them, you do really.
It's
really
basically the quality of the fish that gets me.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I
just
might-
never catch a small one.
No, like I might catch 8 fish in a day.
Do any of you guys catch small ones at Lake
I
Fork?
would love to know. Like it would be awesome because
These guys are only catching big ones, and they're just wondering.
We're not saying like always big ones, but like
no.
I probably caught 75 fish in the last 4 days. 65 fish in the last 4 days. One of them was under 3.
Yeah.
2 were under 4, and the rest were between 4 and 9 pounds. Every single one.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It really is, and maybe doing something different, and maybe
Well,
it not.
most of the
hold up.
guides stop fishing this time of year because it's really tough fishing.
Yeah.
Like it's Like, unless you can find them like you guys are doing, most people are skunking out. They're only catching a couple. But it is a time where you can catch the big fish. This is when the big girls, they're full of eggs. They're getting ready to, they're getting ready to spawn in the next. So the big ones come early in spawn. So in February, end of January, early February, that's when you're seeing the 10-pounders coming in.
If I had
like Ben Miller can catch a 12-8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or did you see Josh Jones recently had like a 12 and 11 on a West Texas lake?
Oh, okay.
So you look online, and he's holding these two big giant
Heck,
muskies out there.
Milliken had an 11 and a
I
half.
heard he had, yeah. We're actually going this week to the same lake that they're catching all those big ones. So.
I bet you OH Ivy's on fire too.
Well, Jason was out there. Jason's been doing Jason Kahn. I don't know if you guys know him. You should follow him. He's out on OHIV. There's a few guys that are down there right now, and they kind of go back and forth between those two lakes.
Cannon?
I haven't met him, but I do know of him. Yeah, so he's out here.
He's legit.
But OHIV, so you're doing the same scoping, but these fish are less pressured. So the ones that you're finding, you're catching a lot. If you can find them, you can catch them a lot better down there.
That's one thing I was saying.
Where's this place at again?
Okay, it's about 4 hours from here.
Yeah.
So if you got a truck camper, you should just go out there. And if we're going this week, you guys want to come out, we'll go take you.
Oh, dude, that's like my goal in Texas. Like if I go to Texas for a month straight and don't catch a 10, I'm gonna retire.
Well, this one lake that we're going to,
I'm getting there.
I'm not gonna tell you the name. There's a small it's a really small lake. So, and you're basically live scoping, and they're out in the ocean.
What's it start with?
It starts with a letter, and then
Is it?
What letter is that? No,
Oh, okay.
it's no. But it's a small lake, and once everybody hears about it, they're gonna crowd because the guides that are out there that are catching these fish, it's like there's a specific way that they're doing it. You're not going to structure, you're not going to cover. You're just using live scope, but it's like no way you've fished.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, let me there.
Yeah,
let me at them.
It's all suspended fish, and you're just finding them and casting to them, but they're giants. And I went out there for 3 days. I saw a couple fish, and I only caught one fish in those 3 days. It was like 8.5, an 8.5 pounder. But I saw giants, like giant fish out there. So the record just got, the first share lunker just got caught from out there. So I'll tell you, it's called JB Thomas.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. But we don't want too many people. There's 12,000 people that are gonna be checking this out, and you're like, oh, let's all go. There's no facilities out there. Like there's nothing. The closest hotel is like 30 minutes. You get a flat tire, you're in trouble. There's like nothing
That's the
out
one that
there.
Josh Jones and Chris Zaldane went to.
Yeah, Josh Jones is out there now, and I fished next to Josh Jones and Jason Kahn. I was on the lake while they were all. And Brandon, there's another guy named Brandon Burks, I think. They're catching 40 and 50 pound bags out there, like insane. And Christian Gladfelter, I'm sorry, Christian, if I messed that up, but go check out their YouTube and their Facebooks. These guys are catching giants out there. But
The thing is, they make it look easy, but it's not.
It's not.
It's
No,
not.
I went out there thinking, okay, I'm going to go to these rocks and here. I'm going to go on the dam, and I'm going in all these places. You don't even catch small fish. There's no small fish
there's none.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It's all big fish, and it's a specific way. So we figured out, like the very last day we were there, that's when we caught our 8. And I was like, oh, this is how they're catching them. Then we ended up leaving. So we're going back this week to, I don't know what's going on. Thank you. We're going back this week to go check it out. So if you guys want to come out,
How far is it?
it's not too far. It's about 4 hours. 4 hours. Probably here it's probably 5 hours. It's on the other side of Fort Worth, like towards Abilene.
It's like a boat rap.
But it's a
I quail on it in Abilene a bunch.
okay. Yeah. It's just once in a lifetime type deal where they're catching them. But it seems like they're going all day and they're only catching 1 or 2 fish. But if you're only going to catch a 10 or 12 pounder, and that's the only fish
my
you
thing.
catch.
Like, dude, just give me a place I can go for 8 hours and get 1 bite, but it'll be over 10. I'm on it.
That's where
I like
either
that.
OHIV is way bigger. It's like as big as Fork, maybe bigger than Fork.
I think it is.
So it's harder to find, like unless
it's like 35,000 acres.
yeah, unless this lake is a fraction of that. Like you can go around the whole lake in the boat in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Like JB Thomas is really small. But it's a whole different way of fishing. So I'm excited. We're going to be going out
Them
there.
fish will get smart. Quick.
They haven't though. These guys are catching them. You're going to see if you follow those
won't
4
take
people. Just watch. Well, once the rest. The problem is it's so far out in the middle of nowhere there's no RV. There's nothing close by. Everything's far away in town. and it's just oil fields out there. There's nothing. So there's no facility. So not a lot of people go, and when they do go, they don't catch a lot because they're doing what I did, you know, fishing rocks and fixing all this stuff. And it's like, that's not how you catch it.
Yeah.
So we figured it out. So we're going to go back this week and see. And if you guys want to come along, I'd be happy to bring you. So, you know, if you guys want to come, we're thinking we're going to leave Wednesday night, get out there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, until I catch a 10-pounder. So I might be there for a couple weeks. I don't know. You know, I'll stay until whatever you got to do. You know, that's our goal. It's my dad's goal. My dad's on here. Hey, Dad, Louis Cruz, grumpy old vet. So his life goal is to catch a 10-pounder. So we go fishing all the time to help him. Before he dies, he wants to catch a 10-pounder. His biggest is 8.8, and so
That's still a legit big one.
it's a good. It was a good one. That's really, he
That's
tried to
like-
boat flip it. He didn't know what he was doing. He was trying to boat
Oh,
flip
heck
it.
yeah.
He was like,
Boat flip is the
I was like, no, what are you doing? Let me go get it. No.
biggest one I ever boat flip was my biggest one I ever caught. I boat flipped 981.
Oh
I put it on
my
a
gosh.
10-inch spoon on the Chickamauga.
Okay.
It was like it was huge.
So we're gonna try and go out there and try and get one. So I took my truck out there and the motor blew up. So it's at a car shop. And I have
Nice.
another truck. I'm gonna go check on them because they keep saying it's almost ready. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go
So,
stop
you know,
there.
they're like, cha-ching.
I don't.
500.
There ain't nothing out there.
3 more hours of labor.
There is nothing
3
out
more
there,
hours of
so
labor.
I got no
3
real
more hours of labor.
options. So I'm gonna go check on the truck, and then
They
while I'm out
definitely got
there,
him. So
You got like $4,000 worth of labor.
yeah, it's yeah.
What'd you do? Like take the engine out, put it back in, put it in a different truck? or
That's what
something?
they're doing with mine.
Rebuild it.
So that's what I'm gonna plan to do this week. So yeah, if you guys ain't got nothing going on and you guys want to come check
Yeah,
it out,
for sure.
it might it's good. It's probably worth it. It's gonna be tough. Actually, you guys might figure it out way faster than us. I mean, you guys know how to break down lakes and stuff, but and we might be able to meet some of the guys that are out there and say hi to them, and you know, and you can get info from there. And that's not a lake that you're on. So,
Yeah, for sure. No, I would definitely love to go out there. I just don't know if I have time with getting the boat wrapped and you know, I want to get some certain things done.
Yeah, no, it's
In a time frame.
I get it, man. Nobody
I want to though, so bad.
Not everybody wants to catch a 10-pounder. So.
Now this fall, I'm coming to Texas. I'm getting revenge on these suckers.
Man, I'm telling you, the spring, the spawn is my favorite time.
Oh, for
just
sure.
because you can see these giants, and it's hard. The rest of the year, it's really actually during the summer, it's easier to catch. I caught like a 35-pound bag during the summer on one point right at the mouth of a certain creek, and all within 30 feet. Like if you miss that 30 feet, you miss them all. Like you're fishing everywhere, but in that it was a sunfish bed. They were all on a sunfish bed. Now, anything we were casting, we were just getting 6 pounds, 7 pound, 8 pound, 8.1, 8 point. Just like you're like.
I've always
oh.
heard about it. That's one
They
thing
school up in
everyone's
these
told me to do.
Big monster schools
Like
with all big fish.
Like I was always told, like, man, you gotta go bluegill fishing in Texas. You gotta go bluegill fishing. I mean, I've been told that for years. And like, I remember when the Elite was there, and Gerald Swindle was literally on the back of his boat casting like this bluegill bed, just smashing him with a shaky head.
Yeah.
On a worm like this big with a hook on it like
Those
that
big,
I'm like, what in the world?
10, 12-inch worms that people use during the summer. It's big jigs, big football jigs, stuff like that. It's
awesome.
great. Well, the fact that you had that in the middle of January, that's insane. You don't hear a lot of people catching 35-pound bag in the middle of January. So you guys found them wherever they're at. You guys are doing it right. So I'm excited to see you guys when you guys come to town here.
it's gonna be like, man, they really choked, or it's gonna be like, okay.
Fork changes. It humbles you.
Yeah.
One day you're smacking them. The next day you went to the same spot, the same lures, and nobody's there. And it's like, what am I doing? What did I do wrong? But that's what I love about the lake. It's tough, but when it's on,
It's tough.
there's
Y'all
nothing
fish-
like it. There's nothing
Smart.
like it. It's crazy. Well, thank you guys. I know it's getting late. I'm tired. I know you guys are tired
Yeah.
too. If you guys want to go fishing this week, we'll touch base and
Awesome.
see. But thank you guys for coming out. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Now, if
Sounds
they
good,
want to
buddy.
follow you, JT, on,
Yeah, it's just Jordan Thompkins is my real name, but JT Tompkins is what I go by.
JT is
so
his stage name, when he's
Yeah.
on stage.
Yeah, so JT Tompkins Fishing, personal page is gonna be like JT Tompkins.
Now,
but,
this is
fishing
Facebook?
pages. It's everything. So
Okay.
like JT Tompkins Fishing, you able to find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everything.
And who are your all sponsors? Who sponsors you guys? right now?
So my number one sponsor is Yamamoto Baits.
Okay.
You got Bill Lewis, Steel Shad.
Gary Yamamoto's ranch is here. I went and fished
I know.
it. DK Ranch.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
really cool. It's a cool
I
lake.
want to go.
You need
so
to go
bad.
check it out. It's a really cool piece of little property they have out
So
there.
you got Yamamoto and we got Outcast Tackle jigs. If y'all guys like, of course in Texas everybody throws a jig. If you're looking for like a top-notch jig, anything that Outcast Tackle makes, they make an RTX jig. It's got a big old 6, 7, and 8 hook in it.
Oh, wow.
You know, something big for these guys to flip bushes with, and I think they'll love it. But like, those guys make I'm coming out with my own stuff with them too. And then you got
Very cool.
FX Extreme rods. They come out with legit rods that a lot of people like. They actually have a 7'7" line. They got medium heavy plus, heavy plus, and 7'7" long rods for like brush fishing in Texas. It's perfectly designed for like these Texas fish. And I think y'all guys should go on FX Extreme Custom Rods and check those guys out.
Very
They're really
cool.
good fit.
And what about you?
We have like Sanctuary rods is one of my basically my no, it's kind of like that's what I'm trying to say in like sponsors like kind of family oriented, you know, like kind of just like because you get in those bigger like companies and everything else like that, it just don't feel as good, you know. Like when I have the guys and I'm around to that, hey dude, what's going on? Like what you doing today? You know, just that kind of relationship wise is really good. Seaguar. Bass Cat's a new one this year, actually. We just signed with Bass Cat.
Okay.
Getting ready to pick it up. I'm excited. I'm gonna be out.
This your first time driving a Bass Cat?
I've driven one a little bit, but I'm excited because
Okay.
I was a kid. I like going fast, you know.
Okay. Yeah, they are.
So I'm excited about that. We got FXR is my new clothing sponsor this year. And then we have a few other ones. We have a lot of local help as well. A lot of little businesses, you know, that like Farmer State Bank. We used to have a little tractor. We got a few like doctor's office that we like really like, and we kind of promote them for a lot of people. So that's kind of the biggest thing of it, and then we just kind of go from there, you know.
All right. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. Great having you guys. You guys follow them on their tour and check out their Instagram or their Facebook, all their social media. TikTok too.
Yeah, I do.
You
have
guys
TikTok.
do TikTok?
I don't.
You don't have TikTok? That's crazy.
I have just like a page.
Just
where
a
I get to
page.
Go
Okay.
on TikTok. But other
Interesting.
than that,
Make sure you guys follow them. The youngest guys on the Elite Tour. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.